What is going on, hockey fans? Welcome in to Clear the Ice. I am Big Al along with Austin. Austin, I think this is the first time me and you get to work together on the Clear the Ice post-game show, huh?
Yeah, first time on Clear the Ice. We've done a few Eagles things together, but I'm looking forward to this, man. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, let's show the little kids how the big boys play. So, guys, welcome in to Clear the Ice. Like I said, I'm Big Al. He's Austin Hamill. You can find him at Austin_EOP on X, and I'm at Big Al EOP on X. And Flyers fall to the Blues 2-1 in a shootout. Gain the point, Austin. Kind of a slow, monotonous game to start. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it definitely was a big grind throughout the whole first period of this game. I mean, you get on the board early, but then from there it just becomes a real. Honestly, it looked like a war of attrition for a little bit out there during the tail end of that first period. But man, this was definitely a very fun hockey game for sure. Even though we lost, it was definitely a good watch.
Yeah, and the watch picked up later in the game, especially towards towards OT and into the shootout. But Flyers definitely played a little from behind. It seemed, especially in the first couple periods, in my eyes. Um, I usually don't do this, but I have to bring this up. The officiating was questionable tonight. Definitely seemed a little one-sided, and then just seemed like they were calling things at one point and then not calling it again. Um, but I mean, it is the game we play. But it was also the return of Kevin Hayes to the Wells Fargo tonight. Kevin Hayes got a cheer, but also got a boo, and we'll get into that in a moment. But I remind you guys that this is brought to you by our great sponsor. So let's talk about one of those great sponsors. Let's talk with Sherry'sTickets.com. That's right. Sherry'sTickets.com, family owned and operated since 1946. Sports, concerts, theater, you name it. You want to go to a Flyers game? You can go to Sherry'sTickets.com. You want to go to a concert, theater event? Sherry'sTickets.com is the place to go. I don't care where you're at in the country. Go there now. Great prices, no hidden fees. You are not going to get bamboozled on checkout like a lot of other places do. You'll know the price you see, and also you'll save an additional 10% off using that great promo code EOP10. That's right, EOP10 will save you 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. Again, Sherry'sTickets.com. Use the EOP10 promo code to save yourself an additional 10% off. So yeah, like I said, Flyers fall to St. Louis 2-1. Um, you know, it was a uneventful for the most part first period. We'll get into that. We had one lone goal scorer, and that was for the Flyers, and the only goal you'll see for tonight. Scott Lawton comes in with this. It's more on Paling in my eyes than it was on Scott. But if you're watching it, it was a 2-on-1 breakaway. Wasn't pretty, but Paling scoops it around, keeps it in front of the net, and it deflects off Scott Lawton past Jordan Binnington, and put the Flyers up 1-0 in the first. What are your thoughts on that one there, Austin?
I 100% agree with you. It was definitely a really solid move by Paling to be able to set up that play for Lawton. Lawton doing a great job just skating straight to the net the entire time. I've honestly, Ryan Paling's been doing a lot more recently in my eyes, and I've been really liking what I've been seeing from him. So to see him get on the score sheet there with Scott Lawton getting that goal is always a plus.
100% agree. Paling has definitely been a name you've been hearing a lot in a positive way for the Flyers, and like to see where he can go into the future. But that, like I said, that would be it. Some big key saves in the first as well from Sam Ersson. Some saves came from the pipe. Some saves came from Sam, and a lot of the game could be broken down that way. But after that, the Flyers, kind of were skating on the back and their back heels a little bit, and possession wise, especially those first two periods, really really fell into the Blues. That would end the first with shots on goal favoring the Flyers 13, and the Blues 6. Urson was 6 for 6 on his saves in that first. Like I said, a lot of clanging of the pipes there. It was almost music at one point. It happened a lot in the first, and again towards the end of the third. Is it just inopportune, or do you think they're missing their marks a little bit, Austin?
I definitely think it's them just missing their marks. A lot of these opportunities are really solid shots, and sometimes more often than not with Philadelphia recently, a lot of these really solid opportunities just aren't breaking your way, and you have to be able to, sort of just keep your head down and just be able to power through it. They'll start going eventually, and hopefully, there's not a lot of season left, but with the games that are left, we hopefully can start getting some of these pucks to start going into the net and getting us some more points than just the one that we saw tonight from Philadelphia for sure.
Yeah, definitely puck luck has been not always on the side of the Flyers. But the kind of the story of the game tonight with the goal scoring, um, you know, opportune moments, not pretty things. Things weren't set up that way. It just played out in the favor. Kind of helped out with Scott Lawton in the first goal there for the Flyers. But let's go to the second period. Let's talk about the return of Kevin Hayes. Like I said, he was cheered for when they announced him early before the game started. But at this point, the boo birds started to fly. The way this whole one broke down, I'm going to break it down for you, but it kind of starts a little further back. Um, uh, Hayes was laid out. I don't know if it was Nick Sealer or Hathaway. I forget who it was, but he was laid out pretty well. Got back up, and Kapanen was able to intercept the pass, send it back to Hayes. Hayes has a one-on-one with Sam Ersson, and it's what you refer to as an excuse me play, because he was trying to handle the puck. It looks like he was going to Ersson's left. He kind of misses the puck, and the puck just slides right through the 5-hole because Ersson's going with the stick and not the puck in this case. And Kevin Hayes snaps a 19-game scoreless streak. Why don't you give me your thoughts on that goal there?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. It really just looked like he sort of just mishandled the puck, and it just happened to give Erson the old okey doke going through the legs there. But it's definitely a tough goal. You definitely would in that kind of a situation hope that you'd be able to get that back. But the way that Erson was tested throughout the game, for that to be the goal that he gives up definitely is a bit of a tough pill to have to swallow, especially for him for the night that he had.
Yeah, and especially how many missed opportunities they have, especially being Hayes back at the Wells Fargo. That just a little more salt in the wound at that point. But ultimately, it was a goal, and it's where it happens. And also in that period, you would see Nick Sealer leave the game when he was took a puck look off the left foot ankle region. Um, kind of, he came off the ice, came back in the third, trying to see if he could skate on it. Didn't last very long. We'll have to keep our eye on that because injuries have haunted the Flyers as of lately, especially with the trade deadline coming up. It could make or break some decisions that they make and make or break who they can trade and can't trade. But like I
Yeah.
said, Blues controlled the possession in my eyes in this one. Shots on goal favored the Blues 14-10. Urson made, of course, 13 out of those 14 save or 13 made 13 saves out of the 14 possibilities. What were your thoughts of the second period there, Austin?
The main one being, losing a guy like Nick Sealer, who's your leading shot blocker, definitely hurts for sure. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I mean, foot and ankle are always really rough, especially when you take a shot off of them. There's not a lot of protection down there for the foot and ankle, but hopefully he'll be right as rain in the next couple of days because Flyers have a couple days off before their next game, so hopefully he'll be able to get some rest in. I mean, aside from that, like I said, that goal was really tough to give up. There was really solid play, a couple more missed opportunities there in the second period. Binnington and Urson both made some really, really stellar saves throughout that period. And to have it tied 1-1 when you look at it in retrospect, and if you don't miss a lot of your opportunities in the first period, that one goal by St. Louis means nothing.
Yeah, it is. That's a fluke play. It's a fluke goal. Urson looks like he's on. He probably goes and wins this game and is perfect on the night. But unfortunately, that's not how it played out. Third period, a lot of scrums in front of the net. Really, again, uh, it was in favor of the Blues until towards like the last third of the third period in my eyes. And it was big time Sam Ersson standing on his head and just stopping some amazing some goals that go in 90%, 99% of the time. Sam Ersson has played above and beyond, I think, what most people would have expected. What are your thoughts on the third?
Yeah, the third, a lot more physical play, a lot more, like you said, a lot of scrums happening around each net. especially like the Hathaways and those kinds of guys getting themselves involved a little bit more, trying to spark some sort of a quick fit of momentum to be able to give their team a chance to be able to get a goal and be able to put the game away. The penalty late in the third period on Mark Stahl definitely handcuffed a lot of our play in the tail end of that period. I feel like there probably would have been a couple of solid opportunities. I mean, we did get a couple of good rushes on that penalty kill, but we have had some fairly fairly better success on the penalty kill than we have on the power play this season. So usually when you're on the penalty kill, I feel like we've been a bit spoiled. When that first break happened, I was like, we're going to score. It's going to be fine. And then that big stop by Biddington, I was like, oh, that's right. Sometimes it doesn't break that way, and it really
Yeah.
hasn't been. But it was, like I said, a really physical third period, and to have it still be tied 1-1 after a couple of especially late in the game, both teams getting some really solid chances there. It was very surprising. I mean, Urson in the last couple of minutes during that power play had to make a ton of saves up close, and he really stood his ground in the crease there.
Yeah, and I think give the Flyers a little credit too for all maybe a little bit falls into this, but they didn't seem as fatigued as I thought they would. Playing 3 games in the last 4 days. You had the Friday Saturday game, of course, off yesterday, and then tonight against the Blues. Jordan Binnington, he's a good goalie, man. He's a very good goalie. He's probably kept the Blues where they're at in the standings. If it wasn't for him, they'd probably been much lower at this point. So I didn't expect a crazy like 5-2 type of game in the situation, but many opportunities left on the ice, which of course brings us to OT. But before we talk about OT for a moment, I want to mention this show is brought to you by Cherry Injury Law. David R. Cherry, he is the man with the plan. If you get hurt at work, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law, Dave Cherry is there to help you out with all your legal needs. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com or simply call Dave at 610-565-0300. Again, cherryinjurylaw.com. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, and criminal law. All life-changing moments. And we need a guy who can make life-changing decisions for you. And Dave Cherry is that man. Call him at 610-565-0300 or call him or just go to cherryinjurylaw.com. All right. So that brings us to OT. OT. Now, they talked about this a little bit on the telecast. It's something I've noticed, and I want to get your thoughts on it. A lot of teams are playing this lackadaisical, all different, just slowing the puck down. I mean, it kept our guys, our starting three on the ice for almost half of the first of that OT, and that made things a lot different. Your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I mean, I feel like there's something that the league should be looking into when it comes to that. The whole. I guess you could essentially call it time wasting. I mean, I'm a soccer guy, so I know time wasting when I see it, and that was some time wasting, man. Like it was really brutal how long St. Louis was holding that puck without really doing anything with it before any of that really happened. Before making zone entries, having a quick pass get broken up, they recover it, and then bailing back out. I want to say, I think they said that it was like almost 2 full minutes that our starting three were out there, if I recall correctly, and that's most of that time is them just standing around.
Yeah,
And
and listen, I get what they're trying to do. You're lulling them. You're lulling them to sleep a little bit. You're trying to get them, and then they quick hit you. They swing around, they quick hit you, try to catch you off guard, trying to get you out of position. But luckily the Flyers were able to hold on, and it went to a shootout. And usually in the shootout, in the last few years, in the last 20 years of the Flyers, it's an automatic loss. And it was a loss tonight, but there was some life given to them, and we'll get to that. Let's break this down in the shootout. Coots came out with it first and kind of squandered an opportunity there but he wasn't able to put the puck on net, lost the puck, play called dead. And that's a loss on the chance for them. Thomas comes out for the Blues. He's not able to capitalize. Then Foerster took a chance, try to do a little, not spin around, try to move for the backhand. Didn't play very well. And then of course, I mean, he played it well, but it just didn't pan out. Neighbors scores for the Blues, and then Frost has to score for the Flyers to keep him alive, and does. He is able to pull it off. And Frost does an amazing job. And then former Flyer, another former Flyer, Braden Shen, isn't able to capitalize with a crazy save from Sam Ersson, able to lift his pad leg up on the right pad leg up just enough to block it where Braden Shen was coming in at. But then Tippett is not able to capitalize, and then Bushevich, of course, gets the game-winning goal or game-winning goal in the shootout and ends it all there. Your thoughts there, Austin?
Yeah, again, another missed opportunity with Couturier, losing control of the puck and having to go back and get it and having it be negated in that respect. Foerster had a very solid opportunity. Morgan Frost was honestly the best opportunity the whole night, even though it was the only goal. I feel like his was the most well planned opportunity out of all of them. Urson did everything he could. That Shen save was incredible. It's just Bushnevich and Neighbors both waited Urson out just a little bit longer than anybody else did and managed to be able to sneak them by. It's a really tough loss for Philadelphia to have to take, but there are definitely quite a few positives to take from this one, even though, you still walk away with the point, which still keeps you what I believe it's 5 points clear of the fourth place team in your division. Keeps you in a good spot right now in the conference standing, but walking away with 2 points is always a better feeling, but
Yeah,
getting
it's
one
only
is better than nothing.
about 15 games or something like that left in the season. So,
Yep.
yeah, that means a lot. And you're coming up against some tough sledding as well, with some really good teams. So, every point really counts in this situation. So that would end the game 2-1. St. Louis wins in the shootout. Like you said, the Flyers did gain a point. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, even though it's 100% Flyers related, but he was at the Flyers game tonight. Jason Kelce emotionally and officially retires from the Eagles after 13 amazing seasons. As a guy, I'm actually just going to touch on just a little bit because I will not be on Wednesday night show at EOP Live. It'll be Fred and Joe only this week. But I have, as self-proclaimed biggest Jason Kelce fan, a guy who played center his entire football career, not as much of a career what it was. The guy I always wanted to be. Even though he's younger than me, wanted to look up to him. A man who embodied the city, embodied the grit, and understood Philly better than I think Philly did. I mean, as a Philly fan, how many years and people try to tell us, what good and bad about us. If you listen to the speech today, which could have been probably 1/3 the time frame if he wasn't getting choked up as much, but shows you even big men cry in an emotional game. And I'll be honest with you, I know we were going back and forth in our chat today on Discord. I was teary eyed as the next guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, an end of an era, and it's not just an era and the goat. I'm sure when Tom Brady retired and all the Tom Brady fans felt that way. Well, one of the best, if not the best center to ever lace up the sneakers and put those and step out on this field, especially the Philadelphia field. It's not often we get to talk about the guys who defined the game outside of just Philadelphia, but played his entire career, which is probably something that will rarely happen in any position. I mean, Austin, when was the last time that you heard as a center, a lineman, a center being the mouthpiece to an organization?
I honestly never. In my time watching football, the offensive linemen were never really a really big focus in terms of like the media and stuff. So to have like, him, Lane Johnson, those kinds of guys be like essentially, I guess you could say, poster childs for the revolution of, like the offensive and defensive line have personalities. Guys like they're some of them are some of the other some of their teammates would say that they're some of the best guys to be around on the team.
Yeah.
So I mean, Kelsey, like you said, it totally embodied the way this city feels about its sports, the work that they put in. And
Talking about the Matty B squad over here. The
yeah.
B means for not as good as the two A's here. That's all I'm just saying. Is
Hey,
it just happen to be that way? It's A plus over here. But no, yeah. I mean, he's the guy. Like he's the guy that you would have a beer with at the bar. He's the guy you cheer for. He will be missed. It'd be hard. 13 years, man. Like, just it's going to be hard to watch football without him on the field. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm glad he's able to go on the tour. I'm glad in the tour I call it. Like I'm glad. I mean, all the major sports in Philly, they had their pictures. They put it out on their Twitter praising him. If most people retire from the Eagles, the union, as you know very well, won't always be putting tweets out saying, congratulations. But when the GOAT retires, the GOAT retires. Speaking of, Austin, he doesn't just do the Flyers post-game shows with us. You can find him Thursdays at 9:00 right here on EOP, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, as well as EOPsports.com right there. Austin Hamill running the attacking third, covering all your union here and doing a bang-up job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So and like I said, he was at the Flyers game tonight, so I would be remiss not to bring it up. So let's break this down real quick before we get into it, because I want to get into a couple of the stats here and hit our stars of the game, because I'm sure with the boss Matty B watching, if we don't do it, we'll get our 30 lashes. But guys, remember, if you want to act, listen, if you want to be a pro like Jason Kelce, you got to travel like the pros. I'm talking Philly sports trips. That's right. The Brazil trip is set. We all thought maybe he would want to go. I mean, he'll probably still be in Brazil. Don't get me wrong, but maybe he won't be suiting up. But the Brazil trip is going to be amazing. They are not just making a trip to watch the Eagles and come home. This is supposed to be a week-long trip, hitting all different parts of Brazil. It's an amazing opportunity. Philly sports trips is not just national trips; it's international trips. They have plenty going on. They go to London. They have trips set up for the Phillies game. They sold out their Germany trip for the Union. They sold out their trip in March to Austin. Sorry, Austin, for the Union as well. And they have one trip left if you want to catch. Yeah, they're coming to your house. And they actually have one for Nashville coming up in April. So you have that opportunity to go to Nashville and watch the Union. But all the Phillies trips are set. And I'm sure once the Eagles announce the rest of the season, bam, Philly Sports Trips got you. So go to phillysportstrips.com and travel like the pros. So let's talk about this. I want to go and I want to give you some of the stats of the game here. Shots on goal favored the Flyers, which seems to be their MO this season, 41-25. Faceoffs were pretty close, but favored the Flyers, 50.9% to the 49.1% of the Blues. Power plays, both teams weren't able to capitalize. 0 for 3 for the Blues, 0 for 2 for the Flyers. Penalty minutes, 6 for the Flyers, 4 for the Blues. Still something I'm scratching my head about a little bit with how many things were not called or whatever. Pat Bernard checking in, one of our other co-hosts here. Flyers, I said that I feel like that could have been a little reason they were a little off tonight. I don't think they looked as sluggish as I expect playing 3 out of the last 4 days. So that to me was a little bit of probably a factor in them not getting off the giddy up as they could.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hits favored the Blues 16-14. Block shots, Flyers, very one-sided, and hopefully didn't cost Nick Sealer any real long-term time off. But they definitely favored the Flyers 29-15. Big difference there. Giveaways 8 for the Blues, 7 for the Flyers, and takeaways 9 for the Flyers and 6 for the Blues. And that would ultimately tie the series, and it's going to be a tied series because they only played 2 games, of course. So they won their first matchup on January 15th, 4-2, and the Flyers lost tonight to the sound of 2-1 in the shootout. Do you want to do the stars of the game, or are you ready to do the around the league scores?
Yeah, we can do the 3 stars. I have my 3 stars ready.
All right, then we'll hit the around the league at the end here. So guys, yeah, we're gonna hit our 3 stars of the game, 3 Flyer stars of the game. All right, go ahead, Austin. Who do you got? Your 3 Flyer stars of the game and why?
All right, 3rd star of the game, I have Ryan Paling. Finishes with the assist. Just insanely solid play to be able to get that puck out in front of the net for Lawton to be able to scoop that on into the net. I'm trying to words, and it's really bad today for me. Second star, I have Sam Ersson. 25 shots faced, 24 saves for a total save percentage on including overtime of a .96. He's been anchoring the goaltending for Philadelphia, and he had another solid performance tonight. Lots of big saves, especially late in the third period with St. Louis on that power play that Mark Stahl sort of handcuffed us into. And then my number one star, I have to go with Scott Lawton. Gets the goal, right place, right time style play. Great job crashing the net by him. And of course, his penalty kill play is still solid every single time he's out there. So I've actually had Nick Seeler in consideration. I feel like the injury sort of pulled him off the list a bit because he wasn't out there for the third period, but a very strong honorable mention. Nick Seeler every single night, I feel like, is an honorable mention because of how often he puts his body on the line.
Yeah, plays it all. Doesn't sometimes it's the not the goal scoring or the fancy footwork or it's sometimes it's the guys that keep you in the game because if it wasn't for guys like Nick Seeler and the stuff that Nick Seeler does, this game could have been a lot different. OT wouldn't have been even a discussion. Um, Not too undifferent, a little different than yours, but number one, Sam Ersson. This is a win, a 1-0 victory for the Flyers. If it wasn't for that fluke, excuse me, type play with Hayes, getting just completely swiping past the puck, and deking the eyes of Sam Ersson to follow his stick and allowing the puck just to glide through the 5-hole. If it wasn't for that, Sam Ersson would have been perfect on the night for him. But I'm going to give him my start of the game because this could have been a lot different. There's some big saves, even during that shootout. Like I said, that Braden Shench, he was that shot should have went in. He was flat on his stomach. He was able to lift his leg up just enough to block it. It could have went under, it could have went above, but Sam Ersson was in the right position to do so. Next one, of course, Scott Lawton scoring the only lone goal for the Flyers. I guess I'll give it to him a little bit. Paling should have got it, but I had Paling, but I'm gonna give it since you took it. I'll give Scott Lawton since he just sometimes right place, right time is all it needs to be. It's better to be lucky than good, I always say. And then number 3, I'm going to go with Morgan Frost, keeping the Flyers alive, giving them a little possibility in the when. Listen, scoring in a shootout's hard enough. Scoring in a shootout when you have to score to keep the game alive is even harder. So power to Frost on that one. Gave that one to him. And like you said, Sam Harrison, 19 for 20, 5 for 5. He was saves were 24 for 25, save percentage of 9.60, and he played the entire game plus OT plus the shootout. Let's see, Pat's chiming in here. I don't like the Torch shootout lineup. Pavel leads the Blues with goals with 20 plus. Listen, I don't know about the lineup so much. If that makes a difference with the shootout in my eyes. But hey, you got each to their own. Do you have any feelings on that?
I mean, I understand leading Couturier. I mean, it makes sense when you really think about it, but I feel like the selection was definitely solid for the shootout. You get some solid talent in the middle of it. I mean, Couturier may not be your best first choice, but everyone after him was definitely a decent choice for that shootout. I mean, Pavel Buchnevich, I feel like, was just an afterthought for St. Louis, which is kind of unfortunate because he actually is a very dangerous shooter, especially in the shootout. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. We could talk about ifs and buts with the shootout lineup all we want, but it wouldn't change the score now, unfortunately. But
yeah, I mean they won on their fifth or fourth guy. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's not
overall though, I like the selection that Tortorella had for that shootout.
I mean, Coots is your guy. I mean, that's number one. Foerster's been, really good as of lately. Frost as well. And you had Owen Tippett. And it's not like you let off with Tippett's an anchor there. You know what I mean? Tippett could, in my eyes, should have been 2 or 3 at least.
Exactly.
So I don't. I'm not saying I hate it. I can't argue it enough. Like that cost the game. That cost the shootout. Like he put in their like worst goal scorers in this situation or something like that. Like I can't really.
If he would have put Mark Stahl in there, I would have had a serious problem.
Yeah, sure,
but
absolutely.
I was totally fine with who he put in there.
All right, guys. So that is that is our stars of the game tonight. Brought to you by our great sponsors as well. Let's just look around the league tonight. Monday, March 4th. Only 6 games played in the NHL tonight. Two still or 6 total games tonight on the docket. Two still underway, and one of them, of course, the Flyers Blues game. Number one was the Golden Knights lost to the Blue Jackets in a low football scoring game or low football game. It's 6-3. Jackets win over the Golden Knights. Panthers beat the Rangers, which is kind of like a hell of a playoff matchup right there. They beat the Rangers 4-2. Of course, like I said, the Blues beat the Flyers in a shootout 2-1. Bruins beat the Maple Leafs 4-1 tonight. Two really marquee games tonight being played. So if the Flyers weren't playing and you were looking for some hockey, that would probably been something to tune into. Avalanche are up 2-0 on the Blackhawks in the second. Still about more than half the game left to play right now. And they're in the first intermission, Kraken and Flames, and the Kraken are up 1-0. So that is your scores from around the league tonight. And would pretty much bring you to the end of the show. Guys, I want to remind you that we have plenty of Clear the Ice coming up. You guys have to deal with the B squad for the rest of the week, but I'm sorry about that. But that's kidding. Matty B and Mike Laurel will have Thursday. Again, the Panthers, really good game. And then they're going to be in Tampa for Saturday. And Austin, you're back at it again, buddy. And you got to carry Pat Bernard. Sorry.
Hey, I've done it once already in the past week, so it's not bad to do it a second time.
Yeah, you got to carry Pat again on Thursday. It's just
Gonna be Thursday and then Saturday morning with the video game show with him, and then also Saturday after that hockey game. So I don't mind shouldering him for 3 separate hours.
yeah, your back's gonna hurt. You're gonna need a nice massage at the end of this week. But two really marquee matchups. Gonna really test the mettle of this Flyers team, and it's leading right into the trade deadline. So that will be a plenty to talk about. As well as here is your lineup for the week. Tonight you had football smack talk show. Talking Philly sports with Matty B was earlier tonight. Party on Broad right before we started probably ended. And of course, Clear the Ice. But tomorrow night, you got the Kelly Green Hour, Birds of the Round Table, Chalk Talk, and another great Sixers post game. Sixers take on the Nets, get processed, and many, many, many other options throughout the week. Also, check out eopsports.com. Sign up for the newsletter in case you miss anything. Go if you're an Apple or Google or whatever you use for your podcasting. Go sign up and subscribe to EOP Sports because all the main shows are podcasted. So check it out. Any parting shots tonight there, Austin?
Just hope that Sealer's going to be good to go for that Panthers game because we're going to definitely need him for that with the way the Panthers have been playing recently.
And you can find him at Austin _ EOP on X. You also will find him Thursday night as part of that lineup you just saw. The attacking third and the Union are underway, right, man?
Yeah, we actually played on Saturday. We have a round of 16 Champions Cup matchup on Tuesday, so we'll have those two to break down and bring you a peek into Saturday's match as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing with soccer. I'll never like how you got there's tournaments in the middle of the season. Like you're playing season games, you're playing tournament games.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how they work that out. But yeah, and also like you said, you'll be back on the attacking third on on the Clear the Ice on Saturday. So, guys, I'm Big Al. I will not be on Wednesday night show. I know you're very upset, but Joe and Fred will take the lead as usual and run that show. And I'm sure they'll be talking a lot about Jason Kelce, of course, about the Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler is now going to be a Philly for at least another 4 years. And anything else that comes down. I wouldn't be surprised if Phillies make another move, and it could happen all before Wednesday. So plenty of things coming up, guys. Again, check out eopsports.com. And we are out of here.